everyone, and here we are with Tre Fergerson. He is the director and producer of one of our selections at the Hollow, The Abduction of Jeanette Raimey. And I have to say, it was so enjoyable that I can't wait to show it as part of our lineup. And he is one of our only alien shows, not to give it away, but with The Abduction of Jeanette Raimey, you kind of put it together. He is one of our only directors that have done aliens, so I'm so excited to have him here. Hello, Tre.
How you doing?
Good. So tell me about The Abduction of Jeanette Raimey. How did we come up with this? How did it happen?
Well, it's a veteran-based made film. It's made from members of VME, Veterans in Media Entertainment, and a bunch of us got together and said, "Hey, let's make a movie for a festival." And we're like, "Okay, what's the easiest thing to do? What's time consuming? We all have jobs." And we all got together on the weekend, and it was a one-day shoot. And we actually had 2 civilians involved with us. And we just said, "Hey, let's put something together and make it fun, have fun, reach an audience that we haven't reached before, and just go out there and just enjoy ourselves as filmmakers." Because VME is a veteran-based organization. It is a nonprofit, and it has veterans. We have 4 chapters, and we all are filmmakers. We're actors, producers, directors, DPs, and everything else in between. So, and we just come together and we make films.
That's fantastic. So, so for the topic itself, you know, what the abduction of Jeanette Raimey, it is were aliens and something that you always fascinated with, or did that just seem to be the logical progression in terms of what your film and stuff?
Well, during that time frame when we made it, it was a lot of things with drones and stuff like that, and everybody's freaking out over it. And we thought it'd be a great concept because, you know, they have the government organization Arrow, which was started, and we were like, "Hey, let's do something off that based upon what was going on then and just everybody's imagination flying about aliens and stuff like that." So we said, "Hey, let's give it a shot."
And totally off topic. Did you have drones by you? Because Calix and I live where the drones are.
Actually, there were some drones around my neighborhood. My wife saw one the other day and was like, "Hey, is that a drone?" I was like, "Yeah, that's a drone." So yeah, but everybody and their mother has a drone nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, Calix and I live where the big drone hotspot was. We would go to I don't know about her, but I know I went to work when they were really. There were a lot of them. It was always on the news, and everyone was like, "Did you see it last night? Did you see it last night?" And I was like, "Dude, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm home."
Did you come out the water or what?
I was like, "No, I live actually about 20 miles away from Picatinny Arsenal." Okay. So yeah. So if they were and I live about 60 minutes away from the ocean. So kind of like right in the middle of where they were. So either way, they're going to have to crisscross to get over. You know.
True.
All right, so let's go. I'm sorry, not to interrupt. So, and you're right in terms of the veterans and stuff. There is a military presence in the movie. Now, are those 2 characters that are, and not to give it away, you know, are they based on your experiences, not so much dealing with the aliens, but in terms of developing the character and how they behave and how they approach situations, or were they fabricated?
Yes, they're based upon becoming MDCOs, our military components. We have agents in you have NCIS, you have CID, you have OSI in the Air Force. So it was a mixture of both of them. So I wanted them to be like agents that could come and they're tactically ready and sound, but they can also do the regular law enforcement duties.
Yeah, that came across clear because in the beginning, you know, I was watching it and I was like, "Ooh, they're 10 toes down, man." I was like, "They're ready to go."
They ready, don't have to get ready, right?
Yeah, and then they were like, "Okay," but then at the same time, like you said, in terms of also being, you know, like law enforcement, they're like, you know, "Can I mail your letter?" And they had a gentle approach, you know, which I think was an excellent way of blending, like what you just said, you know, those two dynamics for that one job, you know. in terms of shooting it, and your actress that played Jeanette Raimey.
Yes.
I liked what you did with her in terms of even her appearance of being like there was like two sides to her, like one ponytail up and then one, so it really got the duplicity of her, which was
Yes.
really good. Was it hard for her to get into character like that?
No, Frances, like she's one of Savina's was in the show, and she was brought to me by our DP. She's like, he worked with her before, and she was a great actress. I mean, she actually came up with the let's mess my hair up a little bit, make it look funny, and she had to walk down, eat. She was just a natural. She had everything down pat, and we just added to it as we went along. We're like, hey, let's do this. Hey, the sugar. Be robotic with the sugar, and she's like, okay, I got it, and she just started doing it. So it was all natural. We had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I could tell it was very easy to watch. Like it flowed, it was really good. And especially, and I didn't mean to, but it's like I had a laugh when she's like licking the letter and stuff, yeah. And so were those some of those things that you ad-libbed and put in there, because those were really great touches?
Actually, everybody had a little say in it. The other writer, Liz Hensel, she was involved with it, and we wrote it in 24 hours. We're like, hey, let's do it for 24 hours. And we're like, hey, we just put the little quirky stuff from being in the military. You have a lot of time to yourself, and you're at formation at 5 o'clock that doesn't start till 7 o'clock. So you have a lot of time to think and all the crazy stuff veterans do. So we just put that little emphasis in it. Hey, what do we do as a veteran? What makes us laugh? What's funny with us? So we put it in our script.
That's awesome. That's great. And your two agents, were they military or civilian?
Yeah, so one just retired. The female, Megan Stewart, she just retired, and Nathaniel got out about 2 years ago.
Oh,
so
that's
they're both veterans.
Yeah. Wow. So that really, so then when I said that they were 10 toes down into it, they really were, because they knew what they were doing, So, but that's phenomenal. Have you worked with them before, or they were new to your production?
Yes, I have a group called Real Brothers Productions Group, LLC, and we made a film called Necropolis. It's in editing right now. It's our first feature film. It's probably going to be released at the end of this year, and it's called Necropolis. It's a post-pandemic film, sort of like I would say 28 Days Later.
Oh, awesome!
And so it's due to shoot out pretty soon. So fingers crossed on it. It's in editing right now.
Yeah, I know. When I was going through your movies and stuff, I saw that Necropolis was up there, and I was like, "Ooh, this is going to be interesting." I was like, "That's yeah."
Yes, we had a lot of actors throughout the DMV, because we're like, hey, you don't have to go to California, you don't have to go to Atlanta to make movies. So we brought actors in from the DMV, and Noel G from Fast and Furious, Hector.
Yes.
He did cameo in the movie too. So we met him out at in New Mexico, and he's just a pretty good friend. He said he would come out and shoot for us.
Oh wow, that's fantastic! And how was it working with him?
He's an amazing person. He's real funny. We actually went to MGM and had a good time with him. We took him around DC, let him see the Capitol and everything else, and we did video and everything. So he's really a joy. He's a real funny character.
That's great. Not many people get those like opportunities. So I'm sure it's like you were just like, yeah, this is where I want to be.
Yeah, we're Hector. We're Hector. We're like, okay, Noel, we know you're Hector.
Driving him, just wanted to say, oh, I'm with Hector. Just remind myself. So
gotcha.
Okay, so like I alluded to before, the film is about alien abduction, right? But not in you don't see her suck her up to the thing, but it's about an alien abduction in a different kind of way. What do you think? What do you think about alien abduction and all that stuff?
I think as being a human, you have to be naive or to think that we're the only ones around here, because this whole big universe, we're the only people that's here. And, you know, you got stuff that we haven't explored yet. Like we only explore like 10% of the ocean, right? If
Right.
I'm correct. And
Yeah,
so
something like that.
we haven't explored the ocean. So we haven't explored space. It's a vast space, and there's got to be other people out there, other things out there that we don't understand.
There has to be. It's like I say the same thing. It's like, you know, where we are in terms of perspective, right? You know, it's like if we took in its simplest terms, it's like if we took a rocket and we just like straight up, and kept going, it's like we'd be naive to think that we're not going to sooner or later hit something else. You know,
True.
It's just inevitable. So, so the like we were talking about the concept of the abduction and one person taking over the other person. Was that just a spontaneous idea, or is it something that fascinated you, or you know, you were just sitting around and they say, "Hey, what would be a good concept?" And you're like, "I know," you know. How did it come about?
I think Liz came up with that concept of Francis becoming someone else, but we wanted to make it exciting. We wanted to have a little twist to it. It just didn't want to be the average abduction. Like, hey, you see somebody get abducted and they're getting beamed up, so we wanted to have a little mystique to it.
Yeah. It really came across well with all the, you know, they were obvious, but not so obvious clues. Like in the beginning, you're kind of not so sure, you know, you know, and you see her walk really weird, and we're kind of like, huh, you know, and then, you know, by the time with I think the fingerprints was brilliant. I think that was the brilliant tell, you know, the fingerprints on the envelope. Like I said, licking the envelope and the stamp, that just got me. I was just kind of like, yeah, that's how an alien would probably do
and
it.
that's
You
what
know?
we wanted the audience to enjoy it, to have fun with it, laugh like how we did, and just get a feel for the whole characters, fall in love with each character.
Yeah, and that comes across loud and clear, you know. And when I was talking to one of the other directors, and I was saying it takes a lot for a filmmaker and an actor to send the message across to the audience so that they intuit, you know, they intuit the energy and the love behind the film, you know. And the abduction of Jeanette Raimey, you know, you get that lightheartedness kind of feel about it, but also the, you know, the seriousness of, you know, of the characters, you know, trying to put two and two together or whatever. And how, you know, as the audience knows what's going on before the agents know, you know, I like that whole dynamic. It was really great. And the you know, the shots too, when you were doing it, the perspective shots, like through the back of the car and all that, I think those were also brilliantly done. Did you frame those out prior to when you were doing it on how you think the best shots, you know, are going to hit, or were they kind of just like they hit you in the moment and you went with the creative impulse?
I think it was hit in the moment because we had a concept we wanted to do, and we just wanted to make sure we captured it. So the whole filming took about, I think, 9 hours, 10 hours. Mm-hmm. So we just gave shots and like, hey, let's try this. Let's try it from this angle. Hey, I love that shot right there. Like, we're talking to ourselves as we're going through it, and we just enjoyed ourselves.
That's awesome. How long did editing take you about, you think, to get that all together?
I think editing took about, 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did a lot hit the floor, or like that you cut, or it was?
Yeah, we had to cut it down. So I think we had exactly like 10 minutes of filming, and we just whittled it down to make sure that we got the prominent shots and everything. So we just wanted a good product out. And we could have made it longer on the back end because, you know, it just left it with a cliffhanger. And I want to revisit it again. So.
Oh, yeah? You want to revisit it again? Do a part 2?
Yeah, that'd be great.
That would be great, you know. So now I don't want to give away the ending, but what was the precipice for the ending? In terms of, because I liked how it went down, but could have went a whole bunch of different ways,
Yes.
So what was your the precipice of it with the ending? Like, how did you get to that one, at that ending, as opposed to like a surrender or a capture? You know what I mean?
We wanted to keep everybody, because I think films nowadays, they tell the whole story, and I just want to leave something open for your mind. Like, hey, you can say, hey, what happened? Did they kill her? Did they just did they apprehend her, or what happened? Like, I want everybody to think, and that's what we wanted to capture, everybody's imagination, let everybody wonder. And like you see how Sinners is right now, everybody has their own commentary on how Sinners was and the things behind Sinners. We wanted to capture that.
Yeah, because I would, after when they say abduction and they go into the house or whatever, and then there's the final scene and it's like, you hear the hail of bullets, and I was like, well, and I'm kind of like, who shot who? I was like, who shot who? How did this happen? I was like, how did this happen? But it was good. It was good in that, in terms of, theory of abduction and alien invasion and all that kind of stuff, we really don't know what would happen. We don't know.
Yes, they probably use mind control on them and have them just shoot up in their house or something like that, or take their guns and drop them. So
yeah, and there's your part two.
Yeah, there you go.
and there's your part two. That's right. So what's on besides Necropolis, right? And I do see that you've done other things, with your film or whatever. What's another one of the films that, or I should say projects that you've worked on, whether it's paranormal or scary or not, that you think should have a little bit of attention, either because it is so different, or you're just proud of the work, or what's another one?
We're working on psychological thriller right now. We should begin shooting next month. It's a psychological thriller based out of Virginia. Mm-hmm. And we just want to keep, like I said, keep everybody guessing. And to the last frame, it's written down. The screenplay is great. And we got a great group of actors working on this. And we're just looking to launch that probably, like I say, in June. Right. Begin filming. And we want to do a quick shoot. So probably 22 days shoot. So we're looking to capture the audience and have them always thinking. And then after that, we have another project called A Hag, which, folklore about the hags and everything else like that. So that should be a good project coming up soon.
That's good. That would be fantastic. Oh, yeah. Who's working with that one?
My group, Real Brothers, and in conjunction with VME, Veterans in Media Entertainment. We're going to use primarily, we're trying to get at least 85% military veterans, cast and crew members on it, and we're going to pick off the DMV area for talent. So
nice.
More to follow.
Now for this, I'm sorry, Kara. I had a question. So how do you guys get funded? Do you guys have grants or something, or how does this work?
We lost a member about end of last year. His name was Captain Rogers. We call him our Steve Rogers from Marvel. So he died. Died, I think, late in October, November timeframe. And so he did a grant, and he was able to give us a grant to go forward in short films and stuff like that. So that's why at the end of the film, some of our films, we have his memory, in memory of Captain Rogers.
Okay, so I'm sorry about that. So that's how you guys are able to put the films together, or is it largely
for Necropolis, we actually crowdfunded, and I think it was on Indiegogo. We went to Indiegogo for a while, and we got a host of funding from there, and then mostly out of pocket, because Quentin Tarantino said the hardest thing to do is just make the film, and we believe in that. So we're just going to make the film. We're just going to budget really well. We work on a beer budget, a champagne taste. So some of it's guerrilla filming. So we'll guerrilla film it, and then we'll just go somewhere else. And others, we coordinate with the community, and we get a lot of love from the community. So a lot of sites on our Necropolis site were donated by the community and the state and the county members and stuff like that. We actually used a firehouse for many of the scenes for our movies. And you know what, movie magic, you can make anything look like something else. So we love movie magic.
So when you the Necropolis is not to focus too much on that, but for Necropolis, did you use like the DC area to film something that? Yeah.
Yes, we did. We filmed in Woodbridge area. We filmed in Maryland. We filmed in La Plata. We filmed all over the DMV, actually, really. So between DC, Maryland, Alexandria, whatever, Fairfax area, we filmed all around there. So it was a heavy lift. It was our first film, so we had to learn to limit our areas, our scenes. So not this one is less scenes, and the movies that we do in the future will be less scenes until we get a bigger budget.
Yeah. So it was the same for Jeanette Raimey. Did you also film in the DC, Virginia area?
That was shot in Stafford. The house was one of our members. She's like, hey, you can use our house. And we're like, cool. Rode down to Stafford. It was about an hour trip from my house. So she had everything set up, and we just re-renovated her house a little bit to make it look the way we wanted to. And she had all the stuffed animals, so it was great.
Yeah, because I was like, it really, if I were thinking of a person or somebody trying to impersonate a human, right?
Yes.
That's how I would do it. I was like, have this, all the little cliche things, the T, the letter, the stuffed animals, and all those things that are just very cliche for, a home per se, you know what I mean? So it was really, I thought it was really done well, Going back to who came up with well, not even the idea, but the tell at the end with the letter. Was that always written in, or or was that another one, a creative moment where you went, hey?
That was written in the script. We put that in it because we want, like I said, we want a cliffhanger on it back in. So we like, hey, the fingerprints was one of our PAs. She was like, hey, why don't you use a fingerprint on the back to show the signature that it's a possibly alien. So we're like, hey, let's go with that. And we mixtured it up. I forgot what it's made of. I think she used glue and coloring. So we used glue and coloring to put the fingerprints on the back. So that's what made it interesting.
Yeah, that was great. Even the way that they, everything was written wrong on the envelope. So I was like, I mean, it's those little details. It's those little details that made the film so great and stand out. That for me anyway. Like we're talking about the chemistry and how even the person who played Jeanette Raimey, like you said, let's make her hair a little crazy and look a little bit more robotic, and and the way that the agents carried themselves. Did in terms of your process in shooting or whatever, how would you say that the military and being a veteran, affected your filmmaking process? Not even in terms of content, but even in just how you approach it.
I would say as a veteran, we're all rigid. We know when we say be there at 8:00, that means don't come there at 8:00. Be there at 7:45. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's easy to work with veterans because veterans we're very calculating and we're very routine-ish. So we do everything in routine. So it was good. Everybody knew what they had to do because we plotted it out the day prior. Hey, you're doing this. You're working this. You're PA. You're doing a boom mic and whatever else. So everybody had their jobs and they just moved out. And the actors, they really came about real quick. So they were able to get their lines down correctly and their mannerisms down. So it was really easy. It was a blast.
Yeah, it seems so, and I always ask this, and Kellex will verify, and it has nothing to do with filming. It has nothing. Well, it does. Your favorite filming snack? when you eat? Your favorite
Oh,
so,
I think it would be because, like I said, I'm a vet. So when I'm at a range or something like that, and we're shooting for hours, and we're on or out in the field, we all eat sunflower seeds. So
really?
we all eat sunflower seeds, and there's a lot of sunflower seed husking around on the floor when we're done. So we pick it up.
I never would have get like the last person. They liked juice treats, the kids juice treats, and or whatever. Or, other people out there like pizza and coffee, or like sunflower seeds. That's a new one.
Yeah,
so
sunflower.
Alex, I'm taking up all the time. Do you have anything you want to ask? I can't hear. There you go.
No, I asked my main question there, but I guess too. So since this is a group that you have, how many do you have, like a set number of like directors and DPs, or is it kind of like a mixed bag?
Okay, so VME is broken down, like I said, in chapters. The head chapters in LA, so they get all the basic filmmakers and the high end people that are always around productions and stuff in LA. And then here in DC, it's a lot of members are either exiting the military or they're stationed here for a certain amount of time frame. So, and they move around. So when a member moves to, like, say, New York or something, because we have a chapter in New York, they join that chapter. We have one starting in, I think we're going to start one in South Carolina pretty soon, and one in Florida. So wherever we go, it's like you go to another chapter. So we don't have a set number here, but we do have some award-winning DPs here. We got some directors in our group, and like I said, a ton of actors, and we have, I think, some producers as well. So yes, we're looking for everybody.
Okay. And are you guys planning on staying? Are you per se staying on just like a supernatural, like horror-esque stuff, or are you doing?
I'm really into horror. I've jumped into the horror genre, and like I said, we really can write. Me and my partner Eric Jones, we can really write to everything, and we're having fun with horror and psychological thrillers. So I think we'll stay in this area for a while.
Okay.
But we do write comedy, and we do like comedy.
Well, you definitely have all the ingredients for like a psychological thriller and horror, and this just little snippet. And I can't wait to see the Necropolis too. When what I would like to do too, if you want to forward me online, email me some information and stuff that I can download. So when we do the Hollow, I can promote your organizations, because like I said, we are going to attract a lot of veterans at the Elks,
Okay.
And the Elks Club that we're doing this at happens to have a lot of creatives. There are some people that own theaters. There are some people that do fundraising for theater, even and movie or whatever. So your organization that you belong to, if you can direct me to it, I'll download it. I'll make and I'll even bring it up at one of our meetings and stuff, okay, so that we can, we can kind of, help you guys out and put out the information, and try and help and see what else we can do. So, because I think it's fantastic. I think it's just all fantastic,
Groovy.
Groovy, yeah. So, is there anything that I forgot to talk about?
You can talk about those cats in the background.
With the cat? Oh, my cats? Yeah. What about them?
Yeah, I just learned. I see a lot of cats in the background.
Yeah. Well, the name of the paranormal group is 9 Lives Paranormal. So. Okay. So we do have a lot of cats. So our logo is a cat. Unfortunately, I do not own a cat, because I do own a Chihuahua that has the anger of 10,000 men. And so so we can't really we really can't have a cat, or we would. And I was actually telling the story, it has nothing to do with the movie, that a deer had fawns in my yard, and he's been really going ballistic because he can't go in the yard, and he has a high prey drive, and he sees them and he can't do anything about it. And last night I let him out, not realizing the fawns were there, and he actually got stamped out by the mama deer.
Oh,
So,
that's going around lately. Have you seen TikTok?
Yeah. If I had it on film, I would have been viral at this point.
Like, fight back.
Yeah, because he was sniffing and barking at the fawns, and I turned. Slowly I turned. It's like one of those films in the movie where you're like turn around, and there's the mama deer, and I was like, "Come on, let's go." And ironically enough, my dog is named Shotgun, and here I am with the deer. And so I'm like, "Come on, let's go." And he's listening, and then he was like, "No, I'm a dog," and he went into the bushes, and the next thing I hear is her huffing, and then I hear her paws, and then I hear rawr, 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 and yeah. So today we were at the vet, so he's not happy.
I hear you.
So that was my digress. I'm sorry, I had to say it, but anyway, but yeah, I would like to have a cat if.
Oh, did she just freeze, or is everybody frozen?
I think she's frozen.
Oh no, yeah. Okay, I asked you if you had cats.
Yeah, for my thing, I had a writing company called The Writing Cat, so that's my cat back there. Really? I have 1,000 cats.
Cool.
Yeah, we're all big into animals, and we help shelter animals and all
That's
that.
a noble cause.
We try. Do you have cats, dogs?
No, I got fish.
Those are great too. They are. I used to have an aquarium. I used to love it.
Really?
Yeah, I used to love it, and but then the upkeep. It just got too much for me, and yeah. I was kind of like, I can't anymore. I just can't. So, other than that, what I will do is I'm gonna do the promo for the Hollow. And
okay. Before you do that, does he have the social media?
What? Say again? What?
Social media?
Yes, that's what I was just gonna do. I just forgot. I was gonna put your social media up here, and so let me have it, and I'll type it, and hopefully I'll be able to do it correctly. That's always been my problem. Go ahead.
You can find me at Tre Fergerson at Facebook, on Facebook, and VME, Veterans of Media and Entertainment, in Washington, D.C. chapter.
Okay, wait, hold on. VME. Washington, D.C. chapter, you said?
Yes. And also at Real Brothers Productions. Facebook.
And Real Brothers Productions. Where'd it go? And who's part of Real Brothers? You and
Eric Jones and myself are the owners. Mm-hmm. And our production manager is Nicole Baptiste. She's really cool. She's a veteran as well.
Nice. Let's see. Hopefully this is going to go across.
So what state are you guys from?
I'm sorry?
What state are you guys in?
New Jersey.
Oh, I figured in New Jersey. I was going to say that.
Can you hear it in my accent? Is that what it is?
You just say New Jersey.
New Jersey. It's New Jersey, yeah. And my dog was in the yard. Yeah. And believe it or not, I told you I was a teacher. I'm technically a speech teacher. And
really?
Yeah, I'm a speech therapist. And when I went to school in Pennsylvania, and I always failed my phonetic work on how to spell things because I spelled everything with a Jersey accent. It's not how 99.9% of Americans speak. Believe it or not, they don't say dog or coffee. But Anyway, so there's your contact information. I'm going to show the outro, and it was great talking to you. And please email me that stuff so I can put it out there. Okay.
Okay. What platform was to be on? Will this be?
Well, this is going to be on YouTube. Once we edit it, it'll be on YouTube. If you want the raw video, I can send you the raw video too.
Okay.
And it'll be on it'll be at 9 Lives Paranormal for the channel, and Calix is going to edit it, and then it'll be up there, and I will send you the link as soon as it's done.
Roger that.
Both, okay?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you. Take care.